The American Civil Liberties Union was granted a big victory in the fight to bring the US government and the Bush administration accountable for the cases of torture on military detention centers in Iraq and Afghanistan. US District Judge Alvin Hellerstein ruled that the government must release photographs showing abuse of detainees, but some worry that ISIS might find them really helpful in its recruiting efforts. This comes after over a decade of court fighting over whether or not the world should see these graphic and incriminating images of how the US military treated their prisoners. The ACLU wants these photos, including those from the infamous Abu Ghraib prison in Iraq, out in the public eye in order to hold the government accountable. They believe they are crucial to the public record and are the best evidence of what took place in these detention centers. The government has said it has 29 relevant pictures from at least 7 different sites in both Afghanistan and Iraq, but it's believed to be over 100 or 1,000 more. Nick, this is very controversial because at the same time, we do need to know what exactly happened to the best of our extent in these prisons and to avoid torture in the future. But the reality that ISIS might take this to their advantage, it's also real. The problem is the timing. This lawsuit began over a decade ago. So things have changed a lot in this period of time, and this was pre-ISIS. So it makes sense for this to come to an end and for the proof of this torture to come out because it was awful. We see the first pictures came out in 2004 and 2006 with an AP report talking about how awful the situation was in Abu Ghraib. But do you really think that is going to boost morality in the ISIS rank to release all these torture photographs?
I think that is, without a doubt, a legitimate concern. Mm-hmm. I mean, just looking at the pictures, as an American, it makes me hate these soldiers, seeing them do these terrible things, because it is.
Yeah.
But I don't know if ISIS can hate us any more than they already do, if that's going to help. I mean, everything that ISIS does attracts more
followers.
Yeah, more recruits. No matter what they do, every suicide attack that's deemed successful by them, where 160 people die, for example, that'll attract fresh recruits right there. Everything. But I do definitely think that it is a concern, but at the same time, I think that they should be released. It's hard for me to comment on the impact that it might have negatively against the U.S. I mean, I can make guesses as to what could happen, but I think these things do need to come out eventually. What would be the right time? Okay, maybe I'm not the best person to ask on that, but it's definitely imperative that we get that out there because we can't hide that kind of shit.
And they share your point of view. A lot of people share your point of view because the brutality that was captured in these photographs needs to be of public knowledge so it does not repeat itself. And this is what the ACLU is asking, is that we need this to be out because that's the best proof of what happened, so we can document and we can prevent this from happening, because it also takes away from the authority of the US around the world as a leader in safety and peace all around the world. Because it takes away from the legitimacy of whatever we are doing right if we have this in foreign sites. And that's another key element. We set these prisons far away from our country, and then that's where the torture happens. We have in Guantanamo, we have it in Iraq, we have it in Afghanistan, maybe more.
You see the same thing in Iraq, what's happening right now. These Iraqi special forces that were training to fight ISIS, we see them doing the exact same thing. There's been videos
like that.
Behaving terribly, shooting civilians, even beheadings. And it's like those images have come out, and it's like, well, I know it wasn't Americans who did it, but they're under our watch.
Imagine how bad it is that in 2009, the Congress passed a law making the Secretary of Defense the person who authorizes the release of these photographs. If he deems that these photographs will put someone, a U.S. citizen or a government or military personnel in danger, he has the right to say these are going to be kept secret. And that's why this court battle has lasted for 10 years, because of this law. Now a judge says, no, you are not justifying enough. You need to release that. They have 2 months to appeal, and if not, they'll have to release all these photographs. The U.S. military, they had something to say about it. Their official statement, and they said, the danger associated with the release of these photographs is heightened now. ISIS will use these photographs to further encourage its supporters and followers to attack U.S. military and government personnel. The ACLU saying it's wrong for us to give the government such censorial power, for them to auto-censor what they put out there of what they've done.
Okay, fair.
I agree.
Fair enough. That makes sense. But we know the pictures exist. Everyone knows now. It's only a matter of time before they release them. But they do have a point holding them back for now, saying we're not going to release it right away. I mean, that makes sense. They know what they're doing. But at this point, they can't just deny it and expect everyone to forget about it. Yeah. They know it's not going away. It's just a matter of when they're going to release them and the repercussions if they do, if they don't, what's going to happen. So it's a complicated situation. But yeah, I also agree with you completely.
Well, we want to know if you agree or not. Let us know in the comments if you think the U.S. use of torture in some of the detention centers was justified, or it should be punished and people should be bring accountable, even if that means that ISIS might pump up their recruiting base of these photographs. Let us know what you think, and if you haven't, subscribe to the Lib TV.